Welcome to the Swedish Junior Hockey Podcast. My name is Jacob Dahlin. With us today is Jens Brandstrom. Very, very varied background. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much.
This episode is brought to you by Scandlux, your home for Scandinavian luxury products for the U.S. market. You can find us at scandlux.com.
So let's start with where you are right now, and then we'll do a little bit of go backwards and say, how did you end up there? And then we'll talk about your current position there in Romania.
Right now, as you said, I'm in Romania, in Transylvania, in Sekerland, which is a little bit difficult to understand. It's the Hungarian part of Romania or Transylvania.
And you are currently the head coach of, so it's called Sapientia. I probably butchered that one.
No, it was close enough. Sapientia.
Okay, U23. So university and what you refer to as the academy team there. Interesting. So let's talk about that position and how you ended up there.
The position itself is that it's called U23, and we are a team with university students who are mainly studying at the Sapienza University here close in a city that is like 30 minutes away from the ice rink. We are playing in the Romanian Senior Championship with the other professional teams there, and we are also playing in the European University Hockey League, which is basically based in Slovakia, but with Czech and Polish teams as well. So that's the setup. The U23 is not like a rule that we have to be under 23. Our oldest player this year is 25. Last year it was 31. So, but we are a young team, and I would say the average age is around 20 years old.
And not necessarily a country that is known for hockey.
No, not really. Before I ended up outside of the Swedish borders, I didn't know anything, to be honest, about either Hungarian or Romanian hockey, more than that they had hockey. Like, that's basically what I knew.
Yeah. So let's go back. So I've got your LinkedIn profile here, and also let me back out a little bit. Of course, I had you up here with a really nice Jofa picture on Elite Prospects.
My awesome player profile.
Yeah. No, it's great. And the first thing that stuck out at me was 5'10", 207 is your profile. You were a heavyweight player when you played.
Not really. I always say, because if you see there is some gaps between my seasons there. I have a couple of seasons, and I basically quit when I was 21. Yeah. And I was everything but heavy then. I was short, skinny, and that was my way. But you know how it is. You don't do much for a couple of years, and then you figure you're gonna start playing again. Then I was a heavy guy.
So you ended up after your playing career in the semi-pro league there. My first question here is, in your coaching profile, right away into head coach in Linköping.
There
must have been something before that.
Yeah. I've been doing the steps, if you know what I mean. I've been started 2001, I think it was, with U10 kids, and follow them U11, 12, I think 13. Then I coached Timrå women's team for a year. I started playing again after that, 2 seasons in Division 2, and then I coached U15 in Timrå again. And from that, I went to Linköping and the women's team in Linköping.
I see. That's right, because it's there's actually 2 gaps there in your playing career. That's interesting. So was it just, I think I'll give it another go?
No, to be honest, when I quit because I got a good job, but I worked shift, so I couldn't really keep playing. So then I became a coach like every second week, and my coach colleague was working shift the other week. So basically overlapped each other with when we were coaching the kids. And so it was doable, but I missed playing a little bit. And I thought like you said, give it a go. Wasn't maybe prepared physically or to be honest, mentally either, but I did it, and I played 2 seasons, and it was fun. But yeah, it was enough with those 2 seasons. And the other gap you're referring to is 16-17 season. I played 3 games in Division 3. I was the coach for the team. One of the games I was standing in my coach outfit, but ready to go if someone else got injured. We had a short bench. And one game I took 1 shift for a guy who was half injured. And one game I played a little bit regularly. So basically it was 1 game, but registered for 3. So it was not a comeback or anything. I hadn't done a proper hockey practice for 8 years. So it was what it was. And I did my best.
It was, that's where Jaromir Jagr got the inspiration. He's now 50 in his comeback. So
I can do a couple of more comebacks because I'm only 41. So
yeah, that's right. But then you started getting into a little bit of a road trip here. Norway for 2 years, and U18, U20. Is that the and player development? So that was, you must have went into full-time hockey role then, right?
Yeah, for sure. It was more than full-time, to be honest. I was the director of player development, sports manager for the U20 team down to the skating school and the women's team. So it was, and Sparta, the club I worked in, is a pretty big club in Norway, and traditionally it's a big club and with a lot of history, and it's teams in every year. It's not like 14, 16. They have teams in every age group. So it was a lot of work.
Yeah. And then a couple of years, 3 years in Sweden at different levels, a couple of years in Hockey Ettan, and then also a little bit with the youth there with Sweden Selects. That's the women's Sweden Select.
Exactly. I was basically thrown in late there before a tournament in Chamonix. I got a call and asked, "Hey, we need a coach. Can you go?" And
you want to go to Chamonix, France for
sure. So it was an amazing period there. I had already planned to go to Cannes 2 weeks later, to France also. So I went to Chamonix. I went home, packed again. Went to Cannes, went home, packed again, and went to Baku. So it was like 1.5 months with traveling to awesome places. So that was only a week that I went with the select team there.
Yeah, and then this is where it gets really interesting. Then 1920, a year in Budapest, and then the last 3 years in Romania. So how did you end up in Hungary and in the Eastern European countries there?
It was basically after the last season I had in Sweden with Lindlöven in Division 1 or Hockey Ettan. My wife and I talked about the future, what we're gonna do, and I've always wanted to go somewhere like out in Europe and give it a try if the chance occurs. It's not super easy to find jobs out in Europe. Maybe many other leagues and teams are looking for high-profile coaches, and I come from the 3rd tier in Sweden, which is really good level, but not a big coach name.
Yep.
So, but my wife said, "Give it a go. If you find something, we try it." And I had a couple of top league contacts where I was, the second name or the third name, and nothing fall out the way I wanted. But this club in Hungary, in Budapest, needed a European university coach and a U21 coach. And it was maybe not the level I was looking for, but I felt, hey, let's give it a go. It's a full-time job. It's an amazing city. I've been there once before at my bachelor party. So I had the experience from the city, and we thought, okay, we do it 1 year and we see how it feels. And so we went. So it was not more than that.
And your wife went with you?
Yeah, she moved there with me. She got a job at, I think it's an American company with a office in Budapest. She got a job there, so she could also work in Swedish language.
Yeah,
so it was like the whole setup was perfect, and we loved living there. I liked working there a lot, and
that's got to be an amazing experience, just personally, to live in a city like Budapest. I've never been, but I've always.
It was amazing. We lived like pretty close to the center of the city. We lived close to the ice rink. You step on the tram and you're there quickly. And we did had an amazing time for that year. And the hockey was great. Also, it was. I switched team there after just a few months. I was promoted to the head coach in Erste Liga for the pro team in the top league in Hungary, and also with some Romanian teams. And it was a new experience, like not only as a person and the life, but the hockey-wise also. It's a little bit different, and a chance to work in a pro league out in Europe is for me. I felt it was an amazing experience.
How is that? And not a lot of people know, like. Even, of course, SHL and Allsvenskan are neck and neck, and the main difference really is money. But but Hockey Ettan is, so the third league in Sweden is pretty good level of hockey.
Yeah,
and it's such an important part for Swedish junior players. The same thing for Division 2 in Sweden, but. So when you came to Hungary and had both juniors and university and the pro team, what was the big difference between Hockey Ettan, or the third league in Sweden, and Hungary's pro league?
The biggest difference is, I would say, like level-wise, the good Erste Liga teams are for sure top teams in Hockey Ettan. The difference is many times that the first line in a good Erste Liga team is like better than the Division 1 and the Hockey Ettan teams. They are like Hockey Allsvenskan level, because the money is pretty good. The salaries are good in both Hungary and Romania, which makes it possible to get good import players. The best local guys are, they get a good contract. Many of them maybe stay more home than leaving to other countries than they would do otherwise. But the fourth lines and sometimes third lines level are lower. So the gap between your first and the fourth line in most teams is huge. I would say that my first line could have played in any top team in Hockey Ettan or bottom teams in Hockey Allsvenskan, and we were not the strongest team. And my fourth line, Division 2 in Sweden. So it's a bit of a level difference there, and you need to find the right way to use the bench. Coach maybe a little bit different than you do. When I had Lindlöven, for example, our fourth line could be the best line sometimes. They were skating, fighting, working, school players coming from U20 top league in Sweden, maybe a little bit, young and naive in how they are playing sometimes, but level-wise still good. But here it was a bit different. If I'm going to win a game, I need to play my best players a lot. So I would say that's the biggest difference. But for me, like to coach in Erste Liga compared to Hockey Ettan, it's a little bit more professional in Erste Liga than it is in Hockey Ettan.
What about the audience? What's the interest of the public there of hockey?
It's a little bit like everywhere else. It depends which team, which club. Tradition or where they're from. Down here in Transylvania, where I am now, we have 3 teams also plays in Erste Liga. It's a lot of interest. They have a big fan base, and it's a lot of people at the games. For us, who was a young club in Erste Liga, it was the second season the team played in Erste Liga. Let's say we had an average of 500 or something, which means that one game we had 300, but the next game we had 800. So if we played against a team from Transylvania, they had 200 fans right away, even if it's like, I don't know, 12 hours drive between this place and Budapest. But it's I think it's getting better and better down there. The interest is getting higher. The hockey is getting higher. Now Hungarian national team is in the A group in the World Championships. Of course, that helps the interest a little bit. Average, it's more attendance than in Hockeyettan, less than Hockeyallsvenskan.
And is that a merging as a country? So since you're in the Hungarian border in Romania, and the influence of Hungary is clear there, especially when you're looking at your roster now, where many of them are dual citizens of Hungary and Romania. But is Hungary a growing hockey nation as a whole? Is Hungary sponsoring? Are they putting a lot of resources behind hockey from the federation level?
Yeah, I mean that's they have a system. Not to go into it in detail, but they have from the, I would say, government. They are spending a lot of money on a couple of sports that they want to grow in, and hockey is one of them. So they have given, for example, their academies that they're running right now, the junior youth, the best possibilities there is to grow as a hockey nation, and they really want to get better and better, and they are on their way. If everything is perfect, what they're doing, of course it's not like it never is, but they are growing as a hockey nation. And I think also for them to get promoted to the A group last year, world champions, is like, the dot on the I. Like it's
confirmation
really important for them to take that step. And also their junior U20 national team went up from the, I think, third group to the second group. So those things are really important and needed for them because of this. They put a lot of money into the system to grow as a hockey nation.
So let's move into your current. So the academy where you're at now, a little bit of a difference moving from Budapest and a big city to out in the countryside. What you told me offline here, but facilities wise and organization, tell me how you ended up there, because that's going to be, I imagine that it's a move that is all about hockey.
When I signed, it was definitely only about hockey, to get the chance to keep working somewhere and feel that, okay, I know a little bit about the place. I have heard about the organization a little bit, but the hockey was the thing. Like for me, I'm more of a city guy than living on the countryside normally. But as the years has gone now, I adapt and I make friends, and you get a life here also. So, but basically I was planning to stay with Hockey Club Budapest in Erste Liga for the upcoming season also. But due to financial things, I think they put together their team with another club in Budapest, and basically they took over the team and the license to play in Erste Liga, which meant that me and my players and my staff, we didn't have a job. And I wasn't, to be honest, interested in staying and going back to take the U21 team. And then the manager of the academy down here contacted me, and he knew who I was because they are following Erste Liga closely, and he contacted me, and we had a couple of meetings, and felt good. He presented the whole facility set up here and what they want to do and what the team's purpose is, and I felt that, okay, I do it. I sign a year and we'll see what happens. And now I'm in my third year down here.
So tell everybody about the setup and how that works with the university and the centralization of the players there.
Yeah. Short story is that in this place that's called Seklerland, so as I call it, it's my words, a Hungarian part of Romania. There are 8 clubs, if I'm not totally wrong now, 8 clubs, and this academy, the Székely Földjegy Korong Academia, is in charge of like the head of the clubs, and coaches are basically hired by the academy, and but every club runs their youth teams, and from this year they put together a dormitorium building where players from U16, 18, and from my team, so the U23 team, can live and breathe hockey the whole time. The U16 and U18 players belongs to their clubs, but they are practicing together in an elite group, and the rest of the players are staying in their clubs. They are playing in the Hungarian Championship and also the Carpathian Junior Hockey League.
Which is in Poland, right?
Yeah, I think it's Polish based, but there are from other countries also around the Carpathian Mountains. So they have that set up, and my team is basically a development team or a college team, a university team. We play in the Romanian Senior Championship, which is for my young team. It's a really tough challenge because we play against a lot of import players who have played NHL, American Hockey League, KHL, VHL, Hockey Allsvenskan, Liga, and these kind of top leagues. Maybe not the guys who are on their peak of their careers, but for example, the Finnish players coming here, they're leaving Mestis to come to these teams because contract-wise, it's better for them.
Yep.
So my young local team, of course, we struggle in a lot of games, but in, I would say, most games, we can keep up a pretty good games and tight enough games for it to be developing. So we are losing more than we are winning, but the purpose is not to win games for our team. It's to develop the players so they have a chance to have a pro career while they are studying. If they don't make the pro teams, they are having their education to fall back on. And we're also playing the European University Hockey League, which is more our level, Slovakian, Czech, and Polish teams in that league. And that's a really good experience for my players to maybe be more sometimes the favorites in the game, or at least, equal level, than to be the underdog. And if we can win against the top teams in the Romanian Championship, it's a big success. But in the EUHL, it's more like normal for us. So to have that combo and play on a really high level to a equal level is the perfect setup for our guys. And my job is to develop the players so they leave my team and go to better teams. That's basically my job. So the better job I do, the weaker team I have the next year.
Yeah. But it's so how much of your experience and when they hired you, it's a pretty common thing when we're looking at the smaller nations hiring coaches from other countries, and are they trying to emulate kind of the Swedish systems, or how much of your Swedish systems are you bringing with you from your times in Hockeyettan as an example, or are you evolving, continuing to evolve more as an international coach?
I would say that 80% of what I do is my Swedish way, or if I want to call it that. 20% is new knowledge that I learned in my years outside of Sweden. And those 20% has made me a better coach and my system better, and my whole package, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
They are in this system here, like the older way here is maybe a little bit tougher leadership, or a little bit more dictatorship in the leadership, maybe more telling when they are doing wrong instead of when they are doing right. And the Swedish way, the last 15, 20 years, 10, I don't know how many years, but it's a little bit more maybe asking questions and so on. For me, I try to be somewhere in the middle, but to the Swedish way a little bit more. And they have adapted it here, and they like that way. They want to work in that way. So I'm in an organization that is really they want to develop everything. They want to get better at everything, and they are open to how to do it. And they have had Canadian coaches here before. Now I'm a Swedish guy. I have a couple more Swedish guys in the area that are, of course, influencing the youth coaches and other coaches and the whole system set up in a way that feels like it's on the right track, basically.
Yeah. So kind of wrapping it up, where do you see the next chapter? Is this a place that you can see yourself staying, or is this another rung in the ladder?
I'm gonna be a little bit like boring in my answer here.
You're gonna give me a hockey answer.
I have really high ambitions as a hockey coach. I have really high ambitions with my career. I'm still, in my opinion, a pretty young coach.
Yep.
Even if I've done it for many years, I'm still a young coach. I have much higher goals. If that comes for next year, or if it comes in a few years, no one knows, not even me. So that's where I see. I take right now year by year, and my management around here, they know that I have higher ambitions also. They are fine with that. They know that that's how it works, that if I get an offer that I can't say no to, maybe I'm gone for next year, but I never say no to staying in a place where I feel I made a living and I like the place where I work and so on. So I will never say never, but I have high ambitions with my career.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you have a pretty good sandbox to develop and to build something that, if you compare that to the Swedish clubs where, and perhaps not to knock the Swedish mentality, but a little bit of, we've got a system, we've got a culture, and we're, it's just about finding some holes on some players, and then we just keep on rolling. You have the ability to with facilities and that rivals most Swedish clubs out there.
Yeah. No, I would say that this whole setup to see another part of the hockey world. And also, like, people have asked me, do you have outdoor rinks there? No, we have an ice rink, and we have the best facilities you can imagine. Like, I don't think any SHL team has the facilities that we have outside of the ice, with a medical center and the technique room and skate mills and rapid shot machines, our gym, wellness, etc. Like, there is hockey outside of Sweden. I think that we have a good setup in Sweden. We have an awesome system to grow players. We are doing a great job. But for me to see this part of hockey, I've learned so much, both as a hockey coach, as a hockey person, and as a person. And I would never change this experience for basically anything, because it made me stronger as a leader. It made me stronger as a person. You meet challenges every day. And for example, when you lose 2 straight games in Erste-Liga, you're not going to hear the nice words. I can tell you that. And it toughens you a little bit, but you can also try to turn it in from your angle and develop the persons you're working with there.
Yeah. No, I think that it's about growth. And you said it best with an overall growth. The unifying part that has been so amazing for me to talk to different people with different backgrounds is what binds us all together is this game, but it looks and feels and it is different in many different places, but it's about people, it's about experiences and figuring out, not just doing it the same way all the time, but modifications and leveraging experiences and the whole 1% improvement every day compounding is an amazing effect. So
Definitely.
thank you for coming on. I know it's 4:00 in the afternoon. You've already had a long day over there. It's early morning here in the US, but we'll be now exposing a lot of Swedes and a lot of North Americans to, hey, there's other unique places like Hungary and Romania that also play hockey and trying to improve and get better.
For sure.
Well, thanks again.
Thank you for having me.